So you've clicked on this video because you've seen those two pictures of me at 59 and 69 and either thought, she definitely looks 10 years older, or actually she doesn't look that bad. So in this video I'm going to share with you my tips on how I stay young. So my first tip is wear what you love. Now you might think, well Des, of course I want to wear what I love, I always do. But you know, sometimes we dress for other reasons. We dress to please our partners, or we dress to please the world around us, to impress the people we work with, to look invisible or not to look invisible. We dress for lots of reasons, and what I'm suggesting is that we need to dress for ourselves. Now of course, we have lots of reasons for dressing in different ways. Some days we get up and we just can't be bothered. We just want to be comfortable and slob around at home. Or sometimes if we're going to a special event, we want to make an impression, we want to make an impact, we want to feel strong, we want to feel powerful. But what I'm suggesting is whatever we put on, we must feel good, we must feel comfortable, we must spark joy in some ways, even if it is slobbing gear, as I call it, even if it is just leggings and an old jumper. There's something really comfortable and comforting about wearing those clothes. So everything we put on, we need to feel right in them. We need to feel like ourselves. And I'm going to give you an example about where I didn't feel like myself when I got dressed. And that was when I was going to a wedding. And I know those of you who watched my channel before will be bored stiff with me talking about this wedding. But it really was important that I felt comfortable because I was going to be amongst people that I didn't really know. And I wanted to make sure that I felt like myself. So I chose a dress, which was really lovely, but in the end, I just didn't feel right in it. So at the very last minute, I bought a new top and I wore it with trousers. And honestly, I felt so much better. I felt exactly like myself. So that's really what I'm suggesting, that we should wear clothes that make us feel like ourselves, that give us the confidence to go out or stay home and do whatever we need to do and feel right about it. My next tip for looking your best after 60 is wear either a bold lip or a bold eye, but not both. Now, I used to love both a bold lip and a bold eye back in the day, and the women that I tried to emulate were those in the Commitments or in the Robert Palmer video Addicted to Love. But as I've got older, I've realised that actually it's either got to be a bold lip or a bold eye. Now, I personally prefer a bold eye, as you can see, that's what I'm wearing today. But I do think there are women over 60 who also look fantastic with a bold lip, for example, Helen Mirren. But the reason I say I don't think it's a good idea for us to have both a bold lip and a bold eye is because our features tend to disappear or soften as we age. And I think having strong colours around the face and on the face can actually look a bit harsh. If we think about the beauties in their 50s and 60s, if we think about Jane Fonda, for example, she will have very strong eyes and a paler mouth. Paloma Picasso, who I used to also try to emulate, even she has softer eyes. Although they're smoky, they're soft, and then she does a bold lip. And I think if we are fair like Jane Fonda or dark like Paloma Picasso, I think either choosing the bold lip or the bold eye is the best look for us in our 60s and 70s and beyond. My next tip is to keep your skin supple by exfoliating, moisturising and using an SPF. Now, dry, flaky skin is not a good look, and I'm suffering from it at the moment, actually. I really am, and I've had to change my skin routine in order to improve it. But if we want to continue to look youthful, we must ensure that we get enough hydration and moisture into our skin. Now, I like to follow Dr. Lee's advice. Dr. Lee is a channel on YouTube and it's run by two cosmetic dermatologists, and they produced a useful fact sheet for mature skin, which I'll link down below for you, and I've got a copy myself. And it's a really, really simple skincare routine for us mature women. And it's basically saying cleanse with a gentle cleanser, exfoliate on a regular basis but not every day, and then treat the skin and then add a moisturiser and or an SPF as well. It's very straightforward, but it's so important that we do this because if we want to apply makeup, we must have a really good base on which to base it. And one of the key things that the two doctors in Dr. Lee recommend is to use a retinol. Now, I only started using retinol a couple of years ago, and that's because I was told by a dermatologist who wasn't a cosmetic dermatologist, to be fair. He was a dermatologist who specialised in removing potential cancerous growth and that kind of thing. And he said I wouldn't be able to tolerate it. I think he was talking about my allergies that I have because I'm allergic to certain types of ingredients in fragrance and that kind of thing. But actually, after playing around a bit and trying different retinols, I have actually found one that works. And I'll link that down below for you. It's Medicate, and I do find it to be very good in terms of the fact that I can tolerate it. Now, is it going to make any difference to my wrinkles? Has it made any difference? I don't think it has, but what I hope that it will do, because it helps to renew our collagen and elastin, what I hope it will do is keep the wrinkles at bay, but it certainly isn't going to change the wrinkles that I already have. And I don't expect it to. I just hope that it will keep my skin looking as youthful as it does now. But the other thing to mention is we've all got wrinkles. We're going to have them, and they're probably going to get worse. If we look at Helen Mirren, for example, who I think is in her mid to late 70s, she has wrinkles and she doesn't try to disguise them, and it doesn't look to me like she's had any Botox or any fillers or anything. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't have them, and of course you should if that's what you want to do. But all I'm saying is, let's not expect our skincare regime to change our wrinkles, because it won't. But what it will do is protect the ones that we have, so to speak, and also provide a really good base for our makeup. My next tip is, if you dye your hair, try to keep the colour as close to your natural colour as possible. So my hair was originally a kind of ashy dark brown. I've got some images which I'll put up on the screen. When I was looking at them yesterday, it doesn't look that ashy, but as I remember it, it was pretty ashy. Maybe the colour on the film was making it look rich. But anyway, my colour was pretty dark. But otherwise, the tips are usually to go lighter, and I think that's probably right. And I did actually try going lighter last year of me with lighter hair, and I did quite like it. But in the end, it started to look a bit straw-like, and also my hair quality is really not good. It's very frizzy, it tends to break, it comes out, it is thinning a bit. So I don't know, I'm in two minds as to whether to try to go lighter again. Maybe I'll just do it for the summer, but I do recommend not choosing a colour that's too light for your skin. But I think going darker than your natural colour can be quite harsh. Again, it goes back to the makeup. We don't want to accentuate our wrinkles by trying to frame our complexion with colours that don't really suit it. Now, of course, the other thing to do is to go grey. I've never tried it, I've never been that brave, but I have tried a wig on. I bought an Amazon grey wig, which I'm showing in the image here, but that wig actually, I mean, it was only about 15 quid from Amazon, has a really nice hairstyle, but also nice thick hair. I mean, it's not real hair, but my hair would never look like that unless I'd been to the hairdresser, and 5 minutes later it will look completely different. So I don't know whether I'm ready yet. In fact, I know I'm not ready yet to go grey. But of course, if you are ready, then go for it. I mean, the great thing is you do have to look after it, I think, in terms of using the right shampoos and conditioners, but otherwise you don't have to worry about the blooming roots, do you? And I think if I decide to do it, I'm going to follow Sally Hughes' advice. And Sally Hughes is a beauty journalist in the UK, and she, I think, went to have her hair actually dyed grey so that when her natural colour came through, it wouldn't look quite so obvious, because if I start to leave my roots to grow out, I'm just going to end up with a lovely white tide mark, as it were, here, which is really not a good look, or not in my opinion anyway. So I'm certainly not ready to do that. But I think if you do go grey, then the key thing will be to look after it and style it. My next tip is keep active and keep moving. Now, I have to confess, I don't go to the gym, I don't even do regular exercise anymore. I seem to have got out of the habit. But what I do is I do my own housework. Now, you're probably thinking, Des, we all do our own housework, so what? But I try to look on housework as exercise, because I actually really don't enjoy housework. I'm not sure many of us do, because it's so routine. However, I really make a conscious effort to stretch and bend, to carry, to fetch, to go up the stairs, to go downstairs. All of these things help to keep me supple and help to keep me moving. Now, I know we're ideally supposed to be doing weights at our age, or we should have been doing them for years. But at the moment I don't do them, although I am thinking of maybe in the new year, if I choose to do resolutions at all, that should be one of them, is doing weight-bearing exercises. Now, if we want to live to a healthy 100, which I would like to do, then I try to follow Peter Attia's mantra that he wants to be able to do 10 things when he's 100. And he talks about wanting to be able to do things with his grandchildren. He's only about 50, I think, now, so he's got a way to go yet. But I would like to be able to do all those things. I hope I'll have great-grandchildren by the time I'm 100. So that's why I want to keep physically active. And another tip as part of this moving, we must sit up straight. And I'm telling myself this because I'm really bad at sitting up straight. If we don't sit up straight, we're going to get curvature of the spine. It's going to be bad for our hips and our knees. So when we sit up, for example, we should have our knees lower than our hips, and we should think of a string that's pulling the top of our head so that we keep our shoulders down, our neck straight so that we don't show our double chins. And we also keep our stomachs in. Of course, we're not going to be sitting like this all the time, but it is a really good reminder. If we keep our stomachs in, it automatically helps to keep our torso strong and tall. So it's really important that we keep our posture moving purposely and carefully. We can help ourselves to have a long and healthy life. Now, talking of health, my next tip is to look after your teeth. Now, you may have noticed I haven't exactly got a great set of gnashers myself. However, I do try and look after the ones I've got. Now, it's really important that we look after our teeth. And in the UK, dentistry has been so behind countries such as the USA. When treatments, when I was a child for children at dentists, were really poor. And unfortunately, I just got very bad teeth. And I know that I really need to look after the ones I've got. Things have stabilised over the last 10 years or so, but honestly, the amount of root canal work I've had and crowns and fillings and all of that kind of thing, it's been pretty awful, and I've spent a fortune on them as well. So I really recommend, and it's not too late to start, use those TPs, use that floss, keep your mouth healthy, brush regularly and use an electric toothbrush if you can. And honestly, your health and your teeth will thank you for it, as will your dentist. My next tip is give yourself some self-care. Now, I've always slightly shied away from the phrase self-care because I always think it sounds a little bit over the top. But actually, I've come to realise that it is really important. I mean, I'm not one for spas or facials and that kind of thing, or even meditation. I've tried it and I just don't seem to be consistent with it. But the reason I mention self-care, because I have to take quite a lot of pills and I also have to put quite a lot of ointments on. So I have an HRT gel, I have a testosterone cream, and I also moisturise my body. And I have started to do this in the mirror. So I now sit in a chair or stand up and I put my creams and gels on in front of the mirror and I look at my body. And apart from it feeling good and touching my skin and making sure that it's feeling soft and that the gels and the creams are going in the right place, it's also a time to check your body and make sure that there isn't anything untoward on it. Is there a strange looking mole? Is there a bit of a rash here? Checking your breast, checking your body. It's so important because age is a risk factor for all sorts of things, as we know. And if you notice any changes in your body, both on the outside and of course on the inside as well, it's really important that you get it checked out. So that's why actually thinking about self-care and adopting self-care is a really important thing to do as we age, as we get into our 60s, 70s and beyond. Because we should be proud of our bodies. Our bodies may have carried children. They've gone through the menopause. We've reached our 60s and our 70s. That's fantastic. I'm 69. My mum died at 69, so I'm so grateful to be here at 69 and be healthy. And we're so lucky to live in this age of advancements in science. There's never been a better time to be in your 60s and 70s and beyond. So look after your body, treasure it, and think about what you put on it and in it. And my final tip is, don't worry, be happy. Life can be really tough, both personally and in the wider world. But we mustn't worry about the things that we can't change. We need to be kind, we need to be thoughtful, we need to be respectful of other people's opinions. And the world is so divided right now. Now, the older we get, the more we know, but the less certain we are about what we know. And that's good, because we question, we ponder, we ruminate. We don't stay still and we keep our brains active. So if you're feeling a bit blue, smile. The act of smiling immediately produces endorphins and makes you feel better. So feel happy in your own skin and do what makes you happy. So let me know in the comments, do you agree with any of the tips that I've suggested, or do you think it's all BS? Do let me know, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you've enjoyed this video, I'd be so grateful if you'd give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that YouTube lets you know each time I upload a video. And for more tips and tricks, why not sign up to my monthly newsletter? The link to sign up is in the description box below, and in that I don't just talk about beauty, fashion and lifestyle, but I also talk about music, books, podcasts, theatre, film and other bits and bobs that make us happy. And if you'd like to watch more videos by me, I'm going to pop up a couple here which you might be interested in watching. And thanks again so much for joining me. It means the absolute world to me, it really does. And I hope you're all doing really well, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye!